Well, hi guys, welcome to episode 53 of the VoiceOFpunk. I'm your host, the Punk. Now, I just finished watching the Monday Night Raw edition, and hold on, let me check my phone here. The 20th edition, like the May 20th edition of Monday Night Raw. And, it's the fallout from Extreme Rules. And and I have to say that I actually did kind of like this Raw. Like, from the Raws that we've been having for the past kind of few weeks, I would say this Raw was a bit of a step up because it kind of focused more on wrestling. It didn't really focus on a lot of storylines. It did focus a little bit more on wrestling and kind of creating new storylines, but the reason why I liked it is because it had pretty good matches in it. For example, the Sheamus and Titus O'Neil match I thought was actually pretty good. And of course the Team Hell No against the Shield, that was good too. So anyway, I thought this Raw was pretty good. I thought it was okay, but it was still pretty forgettable at the same time. But it was okay. Without further ado, I'm going to talk about the stuff that I remember, and so this review is going to be kind of short because even though I said this Raw was okay, I don't think it was, I don't remember that much from it. Because, still, I like that they focused on wrestling more on this Raw. That's what I liked about it. But, it's just that, in a wrestling or, in sports entertainment or, stuff like that, what really makes it, sure, the matches are good, but we really need some, a bit of storyline, just even a little smidge of storyline in these matches. And that's what makes a lot of matches a lot more memorable in a way, because there's a story to them. If it's just it was just a random match, it can be good, it can be good, of course it can. But if you don't care about the people involved, you could say, yeah, it was a good match, but there's no storyline with these people, there's no build-up, there's no, there's no past conflicts or anything like that. So, that's why I thought this Raw was it was okay, but it was forgettable at the same time. Because a lot of these matchups, there was no really build-up to them, except maybe for the Team Hell No and Shield match. But other than that, I thought this was very, it was okay, the matches were fine, and then the new storylines that were created, I thought it was fine, but still very forgettable at the same time, so if that makes any sense. So anyway, Raw opens with Ryback riding in a ambulance, and he's saying at Payback I'm going to have another match with John Cena. It's going to be in a ambulance match. He goes off on this, and what I got from this promo, it made Ryback look like a killer. It made him actually look like a serious killer, a man who wants John Cena dead. I am 100% behind this guy now. Oh, I'm a sick bastard. I was like, you want John Cena dead? Take me, please take. Yeah, so. And then, I think a few matches happened, reminder, this review is going to be very short review. And then I think it was the Wade Barrett and Fandango versus Chris Jericho and The Miz, yeah. This match was meh. I thought this was meh. And I kind of found Fandango to be very annoying. I don't know, I didn't like the whole bit of him, like, starting dancing in the middle of the match with Summer Rae. You know, I didn't care for it. I was just like, whatever. One thing I did like, though, was Wade Barrett has a really cool entrance theme. He has a new one. It's the first time I actually ever heard it. But it was really good. I really like his entrance theme. And after that, I don't remember what happened after. Like, the Sheamus and Titus O'Neil match happened, which was pretty cool. That was a pretty good match. I really liked it show Titus O'Neil with his strength, and I liked primetime players. I think they're very, very entertaining. Titus O'Neil against Sheamus, pretty good match. That's really all I have to say about that. And then the one thing I really want to talk about is Paul Heyman. Like, hey, throughout the past few weeks, Paul Heyman has been hinting at a new client. Like, throughout this time, he's been hinting about a new client. He's been hinting, like, you know, I have a third client with me, and I'm going to reveal him tonight. So, the new client of Paul Heyman is going to be, there's going to be shown tonight. And throughout the week, people were saying, like, could be Batista, could be RVD. In my view, I thought it was going to be Randy Orton. That's what I thought. And, even though that would be kind of predictable, I still would have think that would have been just fine. No, perfect heel turn for him. But no, it wasn't. Turns out, his new client is a man named Curtis Axel, who you may know was Michael Gillicuddy from NXT Season 2 and was part of the New Nexus. And he's also the son of Mr. Perfect, who was a fantastic wrestler, and Kurt the Axe Hennig. So Curtis Axel, he's Paul Heyman's client. Here's one thing I really want to say about this. I was never really a fan of him, so I was a bit disappointed. Another thing too is, like, I always thought that he was a good wrestler, but I was never really a fan of Curtis Axel or Michael Gillicuddy, whatever you want to call him. Like, I always found that he was a good wrestler, but he really lacked charisma, which is a shame because Mr. Perfect is one of the most charismatic kind of wrestlers of his time, and one of the charismatic wrestlers of all time. And one thing I always thought he lacked was his charisma. But like, I always thought he was a good wrestler. That's what I always thought. And I just thought, like, when I saw him come out, I was like, I guess that makes sense. Because Paul Heyman really goes for the guys who are really held back, and which is great. You know, that's awesome. That's really awesome. And when he came out, I was a little disappointed, but in a way I was like, this could be really good because he'll have Paul Heyman to talk for him, and Paul Heyman's one of the greatest talkers in the business. And he can make anybody look good, in my view. Because Paul Heyman, he's the second best manager of all time. You know, the best one is Paul Bearer. The second one is Paul Heyman. The third one is probably the Bray Heenan. And, like, that's in my view. And Paul Heyman, he's a great talker, he's a great character, and I love his whole, like, the mad scientist or wrestling type character. I always liked that about him. And the fact that you pair Curtis Axel with Paul Heyman, I think is going to do good for Curtis Axel. I really do. But it's a thing where you really have to think about, like, like, okay, I get, like, he's held back. I get he's a good wrestler and he's held back. But he's not a guy who I personally want to see. Even though I do think this will be good, I personally don't want to see him. You know, that's just me. Like, I'm not saying, like, you know, he has no personality, I don't want to see him. No, like, any wrestler, really, like, let's go with Lance Storm, for instance. Lance Storm. He's a great wrestler, but in my view, he really didn't have that much charisma. Well, then again, the first time I saw him was when he was in the WWE, in the American stable with Christian, William Regal, and Test, I think. And, I think it was Test. And, he was never really that charismatic to me. Like, a few years ago, I started watching his stuff when he was in ECW, and also he's the owner of the PWA. But if you pair this guy up with a manager, I would love to see him. You know, Paul Heyman, he would have been great as Lance Storm's manager when he was here. Because Lance Storm, he was a great wrestler. I always look forward to seeing him wrestle, but I always thought he lacked some personality. But that's just my opinion. So I'm not saying like Curtis Axel. I'm not saying that he's doesn't have personality. I don't want to see him. Like, I just don't want to see him because I'm not interested in him. But I do feel that this pairing, Paul Heyman, is going to do him good. It's probably going to teach him how to talk more. And I think this is going to do good. And I really hope Paul Heyman kind of creates a stable. Because I really miss stables. I really do. So I really hope this happens. And I'm really looking forward to the future with this storyline. So I hope this is going to do well. And in the middle of this promo where, like, Paul Heyman's talking about Curtis Axel, and Curtis Axel's the ring, he's like, oh, the best. Like, Triple H comes out and basically challenges Curtis Axel to a match. That's what happens. And that's their main event. And throughout the show, doctors are coming out to Triple H, asking him, like, telling him, you can't wrestle, you know, from your match with Brock Lesnar last night, you can't wrestle. And Triple H is like, oh, I'm fine, damn it, I am the goddamn COO this company. I can do whatever the fuck I want. Fuck you guys, kiss my ass, you know. He's basically doing like that. And the match happens, and, you know, it was a good match. I'm gonna say it was a pretty good match. And I can't remember what happens, but they're kind of playing a concussion angle, so the match had to stop because Triple H was getting dizzy and he just couldn't continue. Like, he was collapsing. He was like, ugh. That was played out well, I thought. And so they end the night with Triple H falling to the ground. He's being picked up. And he's like, what the fuck happened? Like that. So, yeah, all in, like, this is a pretty short review. It's like 13 minutes. This is a very short review because I have something to do. But, all in all, I thought this Raw was okay. It focused on really good wrestling, but it was still forgettable at the same time. And from the fallout of Extreme Rules, I thought it was, I'm not gonna say it was a letdown, but I think it could have been better than it was. And, they could have followed up on the Jack Swagger storyline, you know, the Jack Swagger storyline with Alberto Del Rio. They could have followed up on the Team Hell No thing, like in the Team Hell No and Shield match. They were kind of hinting at a split between Daniel Bryan and Kane. This I thought was good, but they were trying to play Kane as a sane person. That's a no-no. Kane should never be the sane person in any storyline. Kane is a psychopath. That's the whole point of his character. He's completely nuts. Like, the man was raised in a hospital. He's nuts. You know, that's all to it. The man's nuts. So, that's one thing I was really disappointed about. Is like they're trying to play Kane as the same person. But anyway, so this is my review of tonight. I know it's very short. You know, I have a lot of shit to do. So this is my review. I thought tonight Raw was very, like, it was okay, but still very forgettable and could have been a lot more better than it was. Yeah, that's really all I had to say about it. It was, I guess it was a okay follow-up straight to the pay-per-view, but like I said before, they could have done so much more. And with the 3-hour time slot, they could really expand on their storylines and really get creative, which is something that they haven't done in about, I don't know, 5 years. Anyway, that was my review. I hope you guys take it for what it's worth. I'm sorry for it being short, but I have a life too, so I hope you guys enjoyed my review. Tell me your thoughts about Raw. I'd love to hear it. And I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.